So my name is Victoria Carless and I'm a QANZAC Fellow here at State Library of Queensland, and my project is called Paper Moon, and it's looking at desertion both on the home front here in Australia and on the battlefront in World War I. The challenge for me with this novel that I'm drafting at the moment, Paper Moon, as opposed to a kind of incredibly precise, well-researched military history, will have hopefully these kind of other stories and segues around them, and you'll get to know these characters. And when they do this kind of act that you maybe personally have an idea or an opinion about, you actually are challenged yourself to kind of think, what would I do in this situation, or what do I think about that? When I saw the treasure wall up here one day, there was one particular image that struck me, and it's actually an unidentified soldier. I looked at his face and I thought, I wonder what your war meant to you, and was it worth it? I also found another image in my kind of early stages, and it was an image, this beautiful image of a family sitting on a paper moon, and that became, I guess, a central motif or concept for me to kind of hang all these ideas off, because in this image it's like the beginning of the war, and this guy's all kitted out and it looks really promising, and this might be the start of something interesting for this family, but actually, you know, it's a beautiful image, and this moon is beautiful, but it's kind of a facade. It's not the real thing. It's kind of a lie. And I wonder if people were sold something that wasn't the same. So first I was kind of looking at incidents of desertion, things in the SLQ collections, and I came across a few things. So there's this wonderful collection, the Archie Lindsay Black collection, and he kept these beautiful, beautiful diaries, and it's just really amazing that they made it back. And then it becomes more personal for him, because in another diary he mentions, showery, very cold, got a letter from Crombie, went to headquarters in morning on McAuliffe's case. And McAuliffe, if you kind of read around those entries, in 1917 was a friend of Archie's, I think, and he was accused of desertion. If you look at his records in the National Archives, you can see there was a court of inquiry held on the 21st of the 11th, 17, finding that he illegally absented himself. So he was really, you know, potentially in strife for that. But then you kind of look at it, and it turns out that he was actually hospitalised. So this poor guy was kind of being court-martialed and accused, and actually he was unwell. So I think it's really interesting, these treasures that you can find when you kind of look and dig deep. And I mean, that's I guess kind of a mild or more sort of gentle version of desertion, but they kind of go up from there too, in terms of, you know, the severity and what actually happened to the people that did undertake that act of desertion. You can kind of find a lot of things in the National Archives if you have a name, and I think the deserter story is perhaps not as well explored, or not as well known, particularly in sort of an Australian and Queenslander context. So I think there's a wonderful academic who's written a thesis on the topic, and her name is Diane DeBellis, and she did a kind of comprehensive study of all the people that were charged with being absent without leave or desertion, and she found that there were over 30,000 Australian soldiers who were charged with those charges. And when we know that around 332,000 served, more people enlisted, but when we know that that amount served, if we do the maths, to me, that's about 10% of people that were charged. So I think actually that story does have relevance and currency today, and there's lots of reasons why people might desert. I thought there was perhaps only one or two, but I've found in my study that there's more.